Welcome to another episode of the Need to Be Studied podcast. It's your boy, Billy the Bad Guy, Billy the Goat, Billy the Kid, Bills. And today I'm excited because it's an education episode today. We have award-winning adult performer, sex educator. I had to get this out because you are so many things. A fetish and kink expert, a musician, rapper, co-founder of Royal Fetish Films. Did I leave out anything?
I'm sure there's some other shit, but then I'm gonna sound crazy if
No, say it. Talk your shit, King.
I'm glad to be back.
We have King Noir if you don't know who he is, but now you need to know if you don't. Tap in. I had a lot of private and alone times to your videos, and I want to say thank you for that.
That's what's up, especially knowing your history with film. You know, I'm glad to be on that list. You know what I'm saying?
No, I watch more of your films than I watch black movies, so that is actually honorable. So
that's what's up. Yeah, I'm up there, man. I get one of your personal Oscars or some shit.
It needs to be studied. We study sex, relationships, dating, mental health, and this year I just been on this journey of finding I've been exploring my sexuality, what I like, what I want to try, and I need to be educated. You know, a lot of podcasts people just talk about regular sex and they don't go into depth, and I want to have people to come and educate me and my audience and my listeners. So what better way to do it than having the king himself, right?
Appreciate it.
But before we get into the show, I want to start with a pop quiz. And the pop quiz is our icebreaker segment to where we just want to know some extra things about you.
Okay.
All right. The first one is, what's one thing about King Noir that most people don't know?
One of the things I love about making porn is because I get to watch like some of my favorite films and be like, how can I incorporate this lighting, or how can I incorporate movement in the camera and all that? Like, I love film. It's one of the things that I'm like obsessed with.
What is like your go-to comfortable movie where you go home, relax, and
I don't really have a comfort movie. I'll be like some heavy ass shit. I don't like all my favorite movies are like really heavy films that I won't say that I would go there and throw it on for like comfort. But like my favorite movie of all time is still to this day is Do the Right Thing.
I have to see that.
You got to see that, but it's not comfortable at all. Like,
wait, what is it about? Because I've never seen it.
It's about a day in Brooklyn without giving away too much. It's about a day in Brooklyn where it's like the hottest day of the summer and tensions are just boiling. I guess it was like 89? And it was like tensions were just boiling over in the community between races, sexes, people individually. It's just like as the temperature go up, you know, metaphorically it's going up in their lives as well. Like that is a brilliant film.
So it's all about one day?
All about one day.
What's a kink or fetish you haven't tried yet, but you're curious about?
Furries.
Who's that?
Furries are like people that they wear these giant costumes, kind of like you might liken it to like mascots for like a team or something. They be wearing these big ass costumes and shit, and they be fucking in them. And I think that shit is cool.
So you want to wear the costume?
Yeah, I wanna just try that shit. I don't do a lot of costumes and all that kind of shit. So like I've been more into that.
So hear me out. I have a friends with benefits, but I want to ask him like, oh, do this with me. So basically it's where like I want him to play a doctor and I'm the patient. And then he come and he was like, I have to check you out. And then he'll put a bunch of dildos in my ass and be like, oh, your hole's not big enough. Oh, too much happened. You know, I don't know how to act that scene out, but I want to do it.
So you're the patient.
I'm the patient.
You're the patient. Okay. See, like when I have done doctor scenes before.
Okay.
Like to me, Dr. Noir, that shit is fly as hell.
So, and so how
I like being a doctor because it is like a real nice dom sub scenario in a cosplay because there is a certain, like even in our real life, you know, a certain power that you have to give away, information you have to give away. You have to be comfortable and, you know, be vulnerable with a doctor.
Yeah.
So like I think it translates well in a scene. So
listen,
you could pull that off.
I could pull it off, but it's like right now, I'm single, and I don't really have nobody consistently doing it with. And this person, I know that this person, they're like my masturbation toy. Like I know if I want to try it, they're going to try it with me. But in reality, it's just like I wouldn't try it because again, I'm on this journey of finding my sexuality.
You think he can play that role properly?
Because my thing is when you play that role, I want you to play that role and be in character. I don't got time for the laughs and giggles, and I don't got time to coach you during it. Like, oh, I want you to do this. I want you to be in character and don't be afraid to make any mistakes. But I still want to make sure, you stay in that scene.
You gotta give him a couple warm-up scenes first. Like maybe not full doctor in the first scene. He can be like an RN or some shit. No, I'm saying like they don't gotta, you graduate to the next power level or something like that.
A surgeon, a neurosurgeon, give me good brain.
Fuck with the brain.
All right, what's the longest you've gone without sex?
I guess when I was a virgin. but nah, since I started having sex, the longest I've gone without sex. 6 months, maybe. I don't know.
6 months.
Maybe. And like I don't ever remember count. I'm trying to count back to when I was, first getting started and shit.
Okay.
So I don't know. As an adult,
there's no 24 hours. Really?
Or I mean, it depends. Like when I'm working,
okay,
I'm sometimes like yesterday I shoot 2 scenes in a day. Other days I might usually have a schedule like every other day or a certain amount of scenes in a week or whatever. So it's different now. So I have to think back. I've been a hoe for a minute. So
now, I want to call you a hoe. Like,
I wear that shit proudly.
Because you go to work, right? And then you have your marriage. So how do you balance the sex in between the two different
I like it when Jasmine calls me a hoe.
So you like
I like being steeped in reality with everything. To me, that's why it's like I haven't always done a lot of cosplay or like I like certain types of role play, but I like role play that's completely based in the reality of the scenario. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm looking to expand a little bit more into the different role plays I do because I've been booked for scenes with different companies where it's literally like, yeah, I'm playing a whole different person. So I'm like, I want to try that a little more in my personal life.
Still able to expand and there's things that you still want to do because when people think of sex, you think of just the basics. But now that you say you want to try furries,
yeah,
who would have ever thought? Or just now like this, you still have things that you want to do in your career, and I think that's awesome.
Well, I think even within our personal life, when people say, sex is boring with somebody, it's just because you've exhausted what you can be creative with. Like you can always flip some shit up and find something new or whatever. Even if you're not making movies with it, you can do that shit in your personal life too.
What made you first decide to enter the adult industry? Was it planned or something that happened naturally?
Happened naturally. I had a friend, she was a dancer, and someone approached her to take pictures. And she was like, I don't want any random dicks in my face. So she knew me, we was messing around. She was like, yo, I know you an exhibitionist. She also knew I could use the money. So that's how I got it. I was 18.
If you don't know, he has one of the world's biggest penises in the world.
I don't know if it's the world, but I'll take it.
Yeah. When did you realize, oh shit, I'm not the average size?
In middle school.
How? Like what? Like
Yo, it's crazy. There was this, I ain't gonna say her name right now, but she used to go up to dudes like back in the day. She was like, show me a dick. And I did that shit because I've always been an exhibitionist my whole life.
Because you knew you had that.
It wasn't even that. It was just like, I like to be watched. I like all that shit. This was before when I was, I guess, just working the shit out in my head. And then she went, grabbed the homegirl. She was like, show her too. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh shit. Like,
and the girls was talking.
Y'all like it. And then from there, I guess that like really picked up the exhibitionist part in me. Yeah.
So
all that shit.
In your younger days, like in your teens, how did you practice being an exhibitionist?
My girlfriend at the time, we used to fuck in front of our friends and shit.
You see, and I shared this story one time.
I've always been a freak of some sort.
See, I've been struggling. I've been invited to so many play parties. I've been struggling because it's like,
This was. I would not consider this shit a play party. We was fucking young and just randomly doing shit.
Your friends?
Yeah, like some randomly do shit, but like that shit would turn me on. But then I think even as an exhibitionist, even outside of just sexually, even something like this, people gonna watch us, have a conversation, they gonna build on it with me or whatever. Like even all the different levels of exhibitionism, being comfortable, sharing my life, sharing what I do, like all that shit is to me, it's all related.
How do you mentally and physically prepare for a scene?
Try to make sure that I eat right.
Okay.
And that goes consistently. Take care of my body, you know, grooming, gym, all those type of things to make sure that, you know, I look good on camera and that I'm flexible and all that important shit.
Do you have an alter ego on the scene? Because you look like you turned into a different person.
I consider it all to be me.
Yeah, because I say a different person because I'm right here with you having a conversation, but on camera you look like you in the zone.
Like obviously I have my government name and my scene name or whatever, but I don't consider it to be like two separate.
What's one thing you wish people knew about the work that goes into adult films?
The shit is not easy. Like I think everybody's like, yeah, I fuck, so I could do that shit. But if you are an adult entertainer, especially in this day and age, you're a business person. Right. So just like any other business, you have to manage your business. And our business is also a business that's 24/7. You know, if you're responding to fans on your pay sites or OnlyFans or whatever, shit like that, you got fans all over the world. You're always trying to be on top of that. You gotta create, you gotta edit, you gotta work with other people, deal with other companies. It's just like it's like any other business also. You know, it's people think you just wake up, you go fuck, there's a camera there, you go home, some shit.
Press upload.
But I think, you know, with anything, if you're good at it, you make the shit look a little breezy. Yeah. You know, you don't want to show all the strings that make everything move, but at the same time, you want to present something beautiful for people. Just like this. This is more work. People think, yo, I just get on a podcast and just talk.
Some of my favorite scenes is when you and your wife are working together.
That's because we always on the same page. You know, like I also with her, we have a history.
Yeah. How long?
We've been together for like 13 years.
What's the secret for being together for so long?
Accepting yourself and accepting the other person for who they are. You know, knowing that nobody's perfect. Nobody's gonna fulfill every single thing that you're looking for, want, you know, like, because they're their own person and they're gonna want, strive for things differently. So it's all about finding like where y'all are congruent and where y'all fit together. Well, we're being honest about that shit.
Listen, there's a lot of liars out here.
Facts.
Including myself. But that was young me. That was young me. But
that was last week.
That was maybe 2 days ago. I lied about some bullshit. But we're gonna get into the more sex stuff later. But I also want to tap into what a lot of people may not notice about you. But you make music. You make music where people can fuck to and also feel good.
Yeah.
What inspired you to make music?
I've been making music since I was like yay high. I love music. I've always been around music. I love to write, love to produce, the studio, stage, like just everything about music is like another, I don't know, spiritual experience for me. I love it. And especially making music is like, yo, when we started Royal Fetish, before that, you know, like there's a stereotype of what porn music is. And we wanted to show that it can be multidimensional and you can experience adult entertainment on many different levels. So like, especially starting a Black company, we wanted to make sure like the music represented us. You know, like we have music in our films that ranges from fucking some hip hop shit, some trap shit, Jersey club, all the way to Afro beats and jazz and everything.
I'm bad with lyrics, but you could probably tell me to fuck around and that's my shit.
That's some Jersey club shit. I'm from Jersey, so I had to do it.
As a fetish and a kink trainer, right? What does a consultation look like with you?
First and foremost, depending on what it is someone's looking for. So the consultation always starts from their side of what it is they're interested in. Because whether it's fetish or performance, because we also do like live sex shows and things like that for like parties. We do everything from something you can experience to something that's more tutorial, just like a class. So that's kind of like where it starts. From there, if somebody is looking for something specific, like I want to learn how to flog, let's say. Do you want to learn? Do you have somebody you want to learn with? Or is it just me and you that's going to be there throwing floggers. So,
Okay.
I have, my partner that's a bottom. All right. So then I'm going to show them in like an experiential way how to actually throw them in a safe way. That's what I always tell people as a master fetish trainer. What we do is help you figure out what your fetishes are and then have a safe orgasmic way for you to live those fetishes, whether it's as a single person, whether you want to learn with your partner and y'all want to do it together, or however you try and freak it.
So what are some questions what are some other questions you'll ask a potential client before agreeing to a session?
I let them ask me the questions first.
Okay.
Because I don't know what somebody is really trying to experience or looking to learn unless they could really formulate it. Because it's not like one of those things where you just want to lead them into some shit.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole lot of fetishes out there. And even people who are into specific things, it could vary. Like somebody who's into feet, some people are into feet like, shit, I want to see what kind of shoes you got on.
Mm-hmm.
Other people are like, nah, I want to be in between your toes with something or see what the bottoms of your feet are like. Like everything is so different and intricate. So for me, it's like I let them ask the questions and then I like to give out what we call our fetish chart to people so that for me, it's like a Rorschach test. Like there's no wrong answer to it, but it helps me understand the things that you're into. So it's kind of move forward with my questions for you.
Some things I was like, maybe.
Like what's like 3 things that you were like, yes, yes, and yes, that you have never experienced before?
Hold on. Give me 30 seconds to look it up real quick. Cause I was honestly shocked. And I was just like, no, this is so on Patreon, I'm coming out with a new segment and called Things I'm Trying for the Podcast.
Okay.
And it's like, I want to try all this shit. Like,
while you looking at them, I'm gonna say shout out to the entire Unveiling Desires team who is actually putting together a research project right now from the data that we have collected over the last 11 years from these tests. Like people have, signed the waiver and said it's okay. We're not putting nobody's name out there, but what we're doing is finding, because primarily the people who come to us are Black and brown folk. And a lot of us have not gone through what you're going through right now, like discovering who we are sexually. We've been told as Black people what we're supposed to be sexually, whether it's through media or through 500 years of somebody just fucking telling us what to do, telling us who we are. So what are the kinks? What are the fetishes that we are going out there, that we are watching in film, that we want to explore, that we want to try? So I'm interested in what your 3 that you're going to pick.
I feel like what I want my listeners and supporters to do, I want us to normalize building that gap between just getting an orgasmic experience and really enjoying pleasure. And I think that's the part that makes me really interested because, you could say, I fucked this person, I cracked this person, and we had sex, but I just don't want to like bust a nut. I really want to have an experience. And I'm a Virgo, so everything with me is dramatic. Like everything with me is dramatic. So I just don't want to leave like I just finished having sex. I want to have a experience.
Cuddle time at that.
Yeah. And then doing this show, I never knew what aftercare was necessary.
Yep.
So I know in your sessions you may not be able to provide aftercare. So how do you tell people who are looking for aftercare after your session?
I do provide aftercare. It's just everybody asks for different types of aftercare. Like I let people know this from jump. Like I am personally not a cuddler. Give massages.
Okay.
I'll talk, play some music, feed somebody. There's a lot of different ways for aftercare. Not everybody wants the same aftercare, but I just let people know like I'm
not a cuddler.
Honestly not really a cuddler.
even
in my personal life, I'm just not a cuddler. It's not part of my love language, I guess. I don't know.
Are y'all cuddlers? Wolf, are you a cuddler? Yeah, I'm a big baby spoon, me.
You the big spoon or the little spoon?
I could be both.
Versatile spoons.
Yes.
That's what's up.
But you know what? All right, going to this list, it says dom, right? And being submissive, right? And I said, okay, I always thought about submissive maybe like being a slave or something. You know what? No, we're gonna get back to that because
we could talk about
because
I'm gonna forget if we don't say nothing.
Okay.
But submission is a choice. If we just take slave outside of the BDSM side of things. Being a slave is not a choice.
Okay.
Right? So if you talk about it within the framework of BDSM, it's like that role play that we were talking about. So like there is a certain part of, if you want to do a master-slave relationship, you can do that between two consensual adults and have the role play that someone is a slave, right? I call myself a master fetish trainer because I'm a master of my craft. But people that I work with as submissives, I don't do slave. I don't call people slave.
Yeah.
That's not really a kink of mine. But you can be different kinds of submissive. So like I'm sure you heard like the daddy dom, the baby kind of, that's another kind of role play that people do. There is just dom sub. Right. And that could be formulated and devised however you as the submissive feel willing to give of your submission. Because it's not like a dom walk up on some motherfucking bam bam shit, hit you over the head, and now they submissive. You know what I'm saying? Like a submissive can only be that way if they decide to be that way. That part of consent is completely what rules over the entire situation.
I think the type of sub I would like to be is if you tie me up. This is all in my head. I never experienced this, okay? I have a creative imagination. I feel like you could tie me up and then you'll probably be like, don't touch yourself. And like stuff like that. Or
so you like a little controlled orgasm.
Yeah, that's what that's called?
Forced orgasm, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Orgasm denial.
Yeah, but it has to be a good voice too. You can't talk to me in that voice of,
excuse me.
Yeah, excuse me.
Don't can you please not nut yet?
Yeah, it gotta give.
Too late.
Yeah. Bing bang boom. You know?
So. I think so that's an act that can happen even if you wouldn't consider yourself to be a submissive. Some people just like to get tied up. You know, I think there's a lot of acts that might be a submissive act that people automatically equate to being a submissive full time. And it's like, you don't need to be. You can be in the bedroom. Some people, they like it 24/7. It really depends on the person.
There's one on here that I'm not going to say, but because it's not embarrassing. I just don't want to say it because people will drag you for it.
Okay.
Right? But one that I am interested in is bisexual play.
Okay.
Like I've checked that off as a maybe. Now, penetrating a woman, I know I could do it. I've done it in the past, long time ago when I was a straight man or a down low man. But I do have the urge to want to eat vagina again or try it again. Like, you know?
I mean, pussy do too. It's amazing.
I just feel like I want to try that. So that's one thing on there. And I put maybe for double penetration. I don't know how.
On you or giving to somebody else?
We listen, we don't judge. On me.
What? How
I know, but I'm just saying because it sounds crazy, but I feel comfortable saying.
This is my list. There's nothing you're going to read off of there that I'm going to judge you for.
I put maybe for that. Hot waxing, I put maybe for. Oh my gosh. It says lick pussy to please master. I put that for a maybe. Mind control. What's that?
So some people like have a fetish for being hypnotized or pretending they're hypnotized, depending on, your belief in hypnotizing people and shit. So it could be either that or some people like the idea of somebody completely telling them everything that they need to do.
Okay. So, and this might be under, I don't know, cross-dressing fetish, but I had an ex who was into it, and he liked when I wore women underwear. And I don't wear that shit on the regular. I just did it because it made my partner happy, right? And I remember going to Victoria's Secret with my friend, got the 3 for $25, and I did it, but it didn't do nothing for me. But what made me happy was to know that I did it for him and he liked it. So would that be cross-dressing fetish?
It would be fulfilling someone else's cross-dressing fetish. Like, I mean, you engaged in it. That's cool though. I mean, see, to me, I think a lot of times when people are in relationships, one partner might have a fetish that the other partner does not. And either people get overly judgmental, people get jealous, or they don't know how to mesh those two fetishes together.
Okay.
So where just because, like, for example, you might have been like even on some, yo, just because you like that shit doesn't mean I need to do it. You were willing to do it, which is great. But like, what about there might be certain fetishes where one partner is like, I really, really am into this shit. The other partner is like, I don't want nothing to do with it. That's where as a couple, that's when sometimes people will come to us and we'll ask like, we really don't know what to do from this point on. If they're going to do this, how do I fit in?
Okay.
So it's like we might help them like, okay, can you watch them do it? Nah, you can't watch them do it. Can they talk to you about it? And then having to find a way that they can still be engaged with it together so that way they could both enjoy it and not shame one of the partners for being into something.
So how do you determine if a client is compatible with you or if there are red flags when in the consultation?
Automatic red flag is if they do not follow any of my criteria. If I'm like, okay, this is what a consultation is, this is what it costs, this is the platform that I do these consultations on, so on and such forth. If they can't do any of that,
okay,
then
no,
it's an automatic red flag. Because
right.
I know if we're in a session and there's things that I told you about safety, you don't listen well. So I'm not going to let you put yourself in jeopardy or me in jeopardy because you don't fucking listen.
What's something someone can say during a consultation that lets you know they're not ready to be in a session?
If they haven't fully determined that it's something that they want to do. Because sometimes we have fetishes that come from all different places. You can have a fetish because, I don't know, maybe you saw a movie or something when you were younger, or you saw someone that you were attracted to and they, I don't know, let's just say they had a whole lot of gauges or something. Or like now you're into this particular goth look or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like there's all these different ways that we could determine. Some can be from bad places and bad experiences that we might have had in our life. So if someone comes to me with a fetish and they might say like, yo, I'm trying to get over something that happened to me by engaging in this fetish. Sometimes I can tell like, you might need to work on the mental aspects of this before you engage in the physical aspects of this, because some things will be triggering for you maybe. So it's important to be able to work out the mental side of things first before you jump into the physical.
So what if somebody, because if I was to book a consultation with you, I don't know, I wouldn't know what to say, right? So somebody that books a consultation with you and you're like, all right, so what are you interested in? And they'd be like, yo, I don't know. How do you support them?
What made them even want to reach out to me to have a consultation? Were you watching one of my scenes and you were like, oh, you did this thing in that scene and that's what made me want to talk to you? Okay, so we could start from there. So maybe it's something like, I don't know, a lot of people reach out to me in regards to impact play. So I saw you flogging in this scene. I wanted to know what that felt like, or I wanted to do what I saw you doing. And then it could kind of go somewhere from there.
And I haven't done no kinks or no fetish anything, but I done did some crazy things in my life, like a golden shower I've done. I think last time
that's a kink and a fetish.
I think it's like I just like being submissive to in that moment. I did say a hard no for me is spit play. I just still can't get my head around that. Like I still tell people what you taught me last time. You said, spit to kill in somebody's mouth. I might do that.
You don't have to do everything. You know what I'm saying? There's certain things that I'm like, nah, that ain't for me either, So everybody has hard limits and things that, like you said, that might be a maybe.
So what's something that you wish every client understood before booking you?
It costs money. It is not for free.
People think it's free?
Nah, I mean, they think my time is free,
Okay.
So like, if we have a consultation, the way I work consultations is, it'll go towards your session if you have one. But sometimes, there are people who are just like asking a million questions on Instagram or via email to my assistant or whatever. And it's like, all that should be in the consultation. Because now you also taking up other time for something. Like, let's just go from there. Other thing I would want people to know is don't expect what you've seen in a scene to be your personal experience. Because one, you're watching other people, but you're also watching a very manicured experience. Like we setting up the lights, we going over things, all these other conversations that you have to put on camera.
Y'all redo scenes over if needed?
I don't know. If somebody was on set and they needed to end for the day, then yeah, we would probably shoot something over. But I mean, like, within the sense of, if I watched a movie and they were at a restaurant and I go to that same restaurant expecting the same thing as the movie, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you're you and you're in this real experience of something that you have never done before. Don't expect what you watch professionals to be your experience. You know, like, we train for this, we do this. So I think sometimes people put unrealistic expectations on themselves that they're like, yo, I'm gonna do all these things like I had seen in this scene, or even if it wasn't one of my scenes, some whole other scene. And it's just like, nah, be in your moment, live your experience, even if you're looking to build up to that. But this is like your foundation. You got to build.
Right. You know how the joke that says, "Oh, the friends never make it out the group chat for the trips or anything."
Mm-hmm.
Do people actually make it out the consultation to your session? Like, what's the?
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, people book this guy right here. He know what he's talking about. And how long have you been doing this?
I have been doing this for like 20 years.
Oh, so because now there's a lot of new people trying to train and teach people about their kinks and stuff. There's a lot. And there are a lot of frauds. I had somebody reach out to me recently. It was like, be careful with this person. It's a fraud. And I said, well, I know who I won't be working with.
You have to be very careful, because there's certain fetishes you can engage in that can scar you, that can really harm you. So you have to be, if you're gonna let somebody tie you up and suspend you, if you're gonna let somebody strike you with even a flogger,
right?
You know what I'm saying? If done wrong, it's not good for you. You know? There's a certain way that you're supposed to do it. There's certain places you're not supposed to hit with certain objects. You know, it can, if you go to the wrong person, not even if they're just skilled, not skilled, educated, uneducated on a certain thing, there are people who are in this for the wrong reasons.
Right.
There are people who are not even, like, I don't consider myself to be a sadist. I enjoy pleasing people. And if part of your pleasure involves pain, then it pleases me to please you. If there's pain involved that doesn't please you, I don't fuck with that shit. There are people who got into this because they themselves want to hurt people. And it goes outside of the sexy BDSM way because they just are looking to hurt people. So you have to be very careful about who you're around, because there are people who got into this because they know they could slide their way into a community, because it's not like we're regulated by the fucking, I mean, the FAA ain't doing well right now, but it's not like we're regulated by some shit like that to where they could be like, this person is a safe dom. This person it works on word of mouth. So if somebody tells you somebody ain't safe, that's the only way we fucking know. And so you got to do your homework on people.
I know you're always booked and busy. You're here this week. You're here that week. You better catch them while you can. Are people able to fly you in, or you fly out?
Hell yeah. I made a whole song called Fly Me to You, just so they know it's on the menu.
Well, we're going to go to our relationship segment, which is called Chemistry Class. And this is going to be about couples rediscovering the intimacy. Now, when couples, we spoke about this a little bit earlier, when couples book a fetish session with you, what are they really looking for?
It really depends on the couple. Like, the thing that I love about what I do is that no two things are ever exactly the same. There's always some little difference or just something that makes it completely unique every time. So some couples, you will get people who are just like, we want to learn to do all that BDSM shit in the privacy of our own home. There are other people who are like, yo, we want to take this shit to the local sex club and get busy and put on a show. And there are other people like, yo, I want to make my own company like y'all do, or be a performer or whatever. So it really depends on the couple.
So for the couple that wants to practice it at home in their privacy in their own home, how do you get them figure out, understand what their kinks are, and how do you support them in that?
That's where that consultation come in, and then where when we actually get to the session, and you're seeing how they react. Like, oh, okay. So let's just say it's you and your partner, and you want to be in this. We'll go back to the doctor patient. So you say you're not sure if he could play that role.
Right.
So me and him might do some one-on-one kind of conversations and coaching to make him more confident in that dominant role with you. Me and you might have a consultation where we're talking about like, this is what I want. This is what I need that'll take me to that place of all the pleasure and ecstasy. And then afterwards, I want my aftercare. And this is how I like my aftercare. And then so communicate that together. And then when we actually get in that session, depending on the level of involvement, like let's just say y'all like, we making a home movie. Then I'll be y'all director. You know what I'm saying? Or I'll be your camera person. And we'll work out the scene. And being that I have my, history in film, my history working with this in this profession, I'll be able to make sure everything is safe for y'all. I'll be able to make sure that you get what you want out of it. I'll make sure that he gets what he wants out of it and that it's in a safe, structured environment. So that way, when y'all start doing that kinky shit when I'm not there, y'all will both know how it's supposed to feel when it's safe.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? If you were like, King said, don't fucking strike me with no fucking flogger in the back of my head and shit, that's not safe. Right. You'll know. But if you just go somewhere and y'all just, like, because I know people who have done this, where they were like, we just got a flogger, or we just got some handcuffs, or we just got some wax, and I burnt somebody, we lost the key, or we hit somebody in a spot, and now somebody's they neck fucked up from it. You know what I'm saying? So it's really about making sure that feel is right for y'all.
It's crazy. I tried all those things, like dabbled in it with the hot wax and the handcuffs, but it was like, nah, I want it done the right way. Like, again, receiving that pleasure. But also I did it in my 20s to where nobody really cared about no pleasure in your 20s. And I think that's why I love in my 30s right now, because you are really tapping into that right now.
Oh, no.
I mean, the people I fucked with.
Some pleasure.
Well, you're a professional. You're a professional. You making everybody.
But it keeps getting better. The older you get, if you're actually committed to, like, I want to find more pleasure in life, no matter what it's from, whether it's from fucking or food. Yeah. You're going to go out there, and now the older you get, you understand, like, oh, I remember what I liked. I know what I didn't like. So now I could combine that shit together to make the perfect fucking situation for myself.
So if you can't share what your kinks and fetishes are with your partner, do you feel like that's a safe relationship still, or?
No, you should be able to share everything with them, and by share, I just mean talking. I don't even mean like y'all got to engage in this shit together, but you should be able to let your partner know, like, hey, this is something I'm into. This is something that I'm interested in. Yeah. If you don't feel comfortable doing that with your partner, then what you with them for?
Because sometimes people be feeling like they getting judged. Like, I'm telling you. But now I don't care.
But that might be on you. That might not even be from your partner. That could be the shame that we have associated with something that we're interested in or into, where we're like, damn, if I say that I like X, Y, and Z, are they gonna look at me different? Or are they gonna respect me? Because a lot of times we have this veil of respectability that we put over all our sexual proclivities. You know what I'm saying? Where we're like, oh, if I'm into this, people gonna look at me and not respect me because they know I'm into da 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 da. So we have to start letting go of that shame in order to be able to grow sexually.
So what transformations have you seen by you helping couples? Like, how what are the positives that you've seen?
Oh, man. Let's start with the physical. I tell this story a lot, but it's my favorite. There's a couple where the husband, he was in the military. He was injured, and he had like serious back issues. So Jasmine and I were doing this fantasy flight party in the basement. He was at his family spot with his wife and her peoples. They had this huge house. He upstairs in his own space. It's like, yo, why you up there? Why you not down here? Tells me all that's going on with him in regards to that. And I'm like, wait a minute, like, you should be downstairs. Like, he was like, yo, I miss doing back shots, but the shit hurts my back. I was like, come downstairs. We were selling those sex swings at the time, the ones you put on the door. And I was like, yo, if you throw it on the door, she get on it this way, then you could fuck with your back up against the door, and then it's not gonna fuck with your back the same way. So like years later, they'll hit us up. They hit us up and it was just like, you know, it changed our lives and we got another baby on the way.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's mad especially from parties that we did or working with couples directly, there's people who will hit us up and let us know like, yo, we got a kid on the way, and we be like, you should name it King of Jasmine, but we understand if you don't, you know what I'm saying? And I would say mentally, working with people and working with couples who are sharing things like what we just said, where they have shame attached to it or fears attached to it, and then being able to work through that together, you see how much more faith they have in their partner, how much more trust, how much more they feel they could share all these things that oh, I didn't even know you was into that shit too. Or I didn't even know you would support me in the shit that I'm into. So that just makes the rest of your relationship even better.
So what's one exercise or session every couple should try to bring the intimacy back?
Do this fetish chart together and see how the shit line up. And talk about it. You know, I think just talking about it is a good time. Like you find out all kinds of shit.
I'm telling you, when I was on that, I was Googling. You know who helped me? My personal assistant, ChatGPT. They broke out everything for me. I said, oh, I'm a freak. Not even a freak in a good way. Like I never thought I wanted to do foreplay. Now I want to be Fireball. Like the hell?
John Blaze.
All right, so for the couple, we're gonna go into our extracurricular activities, and that's where that's our sex segment, but this is a sex episode. I want you to help men, right? And give them feedback. And we're gonna talk about what's the biggest mistake men make in bed. All right. So the first question is, what do you think is the biggest mistake men make in bed?
Not listening. That's usually, as men, our mistake with most things.
As like listen to what?
Just listening, period. You know, like, but I would say listening to your partner about what it is they want, what it is they like. And that's listening to what they say, but also paying attention to their body language. You know, I think a lot of times when I hear complaints about male partners, it usually is like they get into a routine or they're just not listening to the hints that's being dropped about what their partner is looking for.
So if a man wants to change and improve his sex game tonight, what's the first thing he should do?
Ask your partner what it is they want, what pleases them. I think this goes for everybody. Most people do not ask questions, especially in regards to sex. People have this perception that you're supposed to just let it flow, and asking questions fucks with the flow. But you could flow with asking questions. It's very important to ask questions. I think one of the things I love about being on set and working with people is that we have to ask questions of one another. Like, what the fuck are we even gonna do in our scene?
Right.
So we have to have this conversation. And then when you know, like, this what this person don't like, this what this person wants, then you got all the space in the world to maneuver now. Because you know exactly where your playing field is.
So what do you think is something that men think they're doing right and is actually really trash?
I have no idea. I'm sure it's individual for every person.
From what I hear from my lady friends and my audience, the lack of foreplay. And foreplay, I think, is beyond just giving head or something. It's more of, you know, how the person wakes up in the morning, how you make them feel, and you know, do some of these fetishes and kinks that will boost the foreplay. So I think what a lot of men are doing wrong is they're not feeling that pleasure gap. They're just getting the orgasm, but not understanding, like, let's have pleasure with this as well. And I feel like on that show, that's why I really want to close. Like, I want to help bridge that gap. How? I don't know, but I just want to educate.
If people look at it that foreplay really never has a start time or an end time, I think that helps. Like, if you keep a flirtation going with your partner, if you keep that passion, if you keep that energy between y'all at all times, then same thing, start listening, paying attention to body language, you'll see you don't got to rush. You take your time.
So what's a fetish or kink that men usually hesitate about, but can actually be a game changer for them?
There's a lot of those. I think anything, well, for some it's head, you know what I'm saying, eating pussy or whatever, eating ass, getting your ass ate. I think those are all ones I've heard lots of reservations about. I mean, it's changing a little bit, but I think those are ones that I think stand out.
How do you tell a partner they're not good in the bed without hurting their ego and their pride?
Don't specifically, if you really want to not hurt somebody's ego and pride, don't say that shit is bad, but give them the ways they can improve and the things that you want that they're not doing. But also, it really is individual, because it's like some people like harsh criticism, other people do not. You really just got to know your partner for that.
What was like the last? Do y'all give feedback as adult entertainers, like to each other? Like, yo, next time, like, do y'all give feedback to each other?
Sometimes.
What was the last feedback you got?
What was it? Actually, yesterday, not so deep.
Well, miss.
No, I mean, there's depths that some people like or don't like. I mean, we was doing anal yesterday, so I completely understand.
I understand too. There's an article of an OnlyFans model that is facing murder charges after a man paid $11,000 for a fetish video that led him to suffocation. She claims it was an accident, but the prosecutor seems to think differently, where there's a line between extreme kink and negligence. Do you think she should be held responsible?
I don't know the whole story.
Okay.
But I do know, if you are out there, like, so we do workshops on breath play. And when it comes to choking, most people don't know how to properly choke nobody. I'm not saying this person, I don't know who the fuck they are.
Right.
But like most people, they be, grabbing up on the neck like this, or be on top of somebody, putting all their weight onto their throat and their larynx and all that. And, when you choke somebody, you want them to get up from this choking position the same person that went into it. And if you cut off somebody's air supply or blood supply, you could really fuck somebody up. You can kill them. You can give them brain damage. So you have to be very careful in any of those kind of things, which is why I say it's always good to go to a professional first.
Breath play, I think that's a hard no on my thing. I'm scared. That I'm scared of. Fire play, I'm not scared of.
I love some breath play.
Close out the show, we have our homework assignment, and that's where you help give advice to the listeners and supporters. And I would like your advice on, for people who struggle with confidence in the bedroom, what's the best advice for embracing their sexual power?
Identify what your sexual power is. Don't look for your sexual power in other people. Like, find what you really enjoy, what you're really good at. Usually what you enjoy is what you're good at.
Right.
Because you put your energy and effort into it. So recognize what that is in you and try to, keep working at it, enhance it, build it up.
How do you keep your sex life different from like work? Like, what do you do differently? Or do you keep it the same?
Only difference is there's not a cast and crew and cameras in my personal life. Like, the way I fuck on camera is the way I like to fuck when there's no camera.
And if you want more information, where can they find you?
King Noir XXX.com, Royal Fetish XXX.com, OnlyFans /
And we're recording
King
this
Noir.
on Friday. So he does Freaky Fridays.
Fetish
Fridays.
On Instagram, The Real King Noir, and Twitter, X, whatever it's called, at KINGNOIRE.
Yes. Check him out, and we got more episodes coming out. If you come back to New York, I have more. I'll make another outline. I have more questions for you.
All right, let's go.
I
was trying to be at y'all live show. I want to come get busy at the live show.
You will come?
Hell yeah.
I think the next one, I'm not gonna say on camera, but I'll let
we'll talk about
it. Yeah. But I think it comes around the next time you plan on being back in New York. So
okay,
I'll let you know.
I'm with it.
All right. Well, thank you, y'all, for tuning in. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, and make sure you subscribe, and tell a friend to tell a friend. Holla.
Peace.